What's up? It's your girl Brianca Jay, and I am back. I want to talk about Where the Crawdads Sing again. I know I did the review, but right now I want to talk about the literary analysis, some of the thematic concerns, some major takeaways I took away from this book, and get kind of more chatty about the details. So if you've already read the book, this is the video for you, because we can kind of talk more in detail about what we saw and how things went. So yeah, thanks for coming. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brianca Jay. This is Book Talk. I come to you guys with literary recommendations, reviews, and reviews, recommendations, and what else do I do, guys? Analysis every week. So 3 videos a week. If you like that and you like me, go ahead, subscribe, because I'm gonna be here and I want you to join the family. We have come to 140 freaking subscribers. Oh my god, that's awesome. Yeah, let's keep going. So if you know anybody that likes this video, share it with them. And yeah, I'm looking to get to 1,000. That's like my goal. I think that's everybody's goal, right? But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so some of my major takeaways. Some of my major takeaways from the book, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. First, I really want to talk about the theme, like nature and civilization. So I wrote here in my notes that she said are more closely related than one gives credit for. She talks about the male mating in human mimics the patterns of fireflies, bullfrogs, and the praying mantis. So you see that Kaya in the book gets a lot of her dating advice from the animals in the marsh, and she makes friends with the seagulls, and she tries to make sense with her mother's leaving by comparing it to the foxes, and she's really trying to build an understanding of the world, of the society she's in, based on the natural world. And it makes her react a little bit differently, but also not off base. Like a lot of her experiences, her examples, her associations are in fact true. Like, so then there goes to say that, are we really that much different from the animals? Are we really so different from the insects, the bugs, the birds? And so the only thing that Delia Owens says that we do differently is our ability to communicate through reading and writing, and how we can use that skill to elevate ourselves. And I think that was just a beautiful thing, a beautiful thought, and it's a deep thought. Because one, I'm not like a nature person personally. Like I never really go into nature very much, but that's not true. I go into nature. I don't go into the swamps. Like I'm from Texas, so, but I live in Houston, so I do know nature. I know what it's like to get dirty, but like not to the extent of Delia Owens. Okay, not that deep into it. But I am familiar with Walden, and so that idea and that stage in life where that was coming, and leaves of grass came out around that time too, was basically about how for a man to get back in touch with his inner humanity, for him to get back in touch with God, he needs to isolate himself from society and really go back into nature and understand how things work in that way. And so I think Delia Owens was saying something that similar themes came out in that, to this idea. Well, she's a little more advanced. She's like asking us to really study it and pay attention, but the idea of just being there and connecting with nature grounds us and brings us back to a level of humanity that we may get lost in when we are consistently online and interacting with others and trying to fit into a social contract, if you will. Another theme that came out in the text was loneliness, and I think that was really relevant for this time. I think a lot of us are in quarantine, and we are experiencing like a level of loneliness if we're not with our partner, or if we're not being able to see our friends or go to work, or just experience our regular routine day to day. It can get very lonely, and so I thought this was just such a relevant, I think loneliness is one of those universal themes, to be honest. Loneliness is one of those themes that are always going to be a part of the conversation. But either way, some of the comments she came out is what I got from the book is like, people come and go. Nothing in this life is permanent, and it's only natural that we are alone sometimes. And I think all of those thoughts were important because I think that's some of the harder things for us to swallow in life, that people come and go and it usually has nothing to do with you. So Kaya, for instance, is like angry with her mother the whole book. Like, why would you leave me? Why wouldn't you come back? And she can't understand it. And I think Jody even tells her, like, maybe you're not going to have the answers. Maybe you should forgive anyway. And she just struggles with this the entire text until she experiences something similar to what her mother experiences, and then she says, I understand. And then she's also able to understand that it was never a rejection of her, but a personal need of the other. So it's like you have to understand that people come and go, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't love you. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't want to be with you. Just think life can be very complicated, you know, and I think that's something hard for me to swallow. So I know it has to be something other people have to struggle with. But like, you know, the 4 agreements, you know, nothing personal, okay? So I think that's something like we can try to take in from this. And then nothing in this life is permanent. So she kept trying to be like, why do people leave me? Why am I always like getting left? And the thing is, love will come in her life and love will leave her life. And things will come and things will go. And the tide comes in and the tide goes. And that's what we have to understand about love and loneliness, that like life has its ebbs and its flows, right? Sometimes we have so much and we have to know when to just embrace it and enjoy it. And then when it goes, we have to allow it to go with grace, you know? And I think that when we are able to do that, just like the sun and the sky and the moon and the sea, just allowing things to go and be as they need to be without our interference, we can feel happiness and at peace. Because this is something that plagued her throughout the text, but she had to learn to find wholeness in herself, I guess. I don't know. And then it says, it is only natural that we are alone sometimes. So that's another thing I got from it. So Kaya had these times she's like alone. And I think like we need to be alone at times. We need to have that time to reflect, to be quiet, to focus, to create. And I think that we shouldn't have so many constant outlets, so many dings and rings and things that can take us out of our element. Sometimes we need that opportunity to just isolate and be alone. So I thought that was a brilliant thing to add to the book. Another thing Delia Owens kind of touches on thematically is that knowledge bridges you to the world. And so even though she's isolated, Kaya learns to communicate with the written world and becomes accepted as a human. So, you know, she's the marsh girl, she's the weirdo, she's the creep in the book, she's isolated in the book, and no one in town really understands her. But Tate teaches her how to read and write, and from that, she's able to elevate herself into a position where she can make money, where she can be accepted across the globe, where she can become a expert in her field, and, you know, a way to take all of that knowledge and that intellect and to channel it into something that helps and educates others. So I thought that was great for Kaya, and it shows us just how important that knowledge is. Because basically I don't need no damn friends. I can read and I can write, and then if I can do that, I can put myself in a position. I think a lot of times we think we have to network. I have to go to this party, I have to see this person, I have to do this, I have to do that, when really you need to be hunkering down, getting on your craft. Focus on your craft. If you can do your craft, everything else can follow in the right time. So and then I just wrote, education separates us from savagery. So once she became this acclaimed author, people started respecting her more and treating her, and even giving her the benefit of the doubt. As you know, she got released from her case, acquitted, because, you know, she just took on this more human-like nature. Another thing that has come up is true love survives time and distance. So I wrote that Jody comes, Jumping comes, Tate comes. They all love her despite circumstances that separate them. So Jody leaves. You know, he was getting beat by his father. He leaves. He does 2 tours in the army. And he comes back and he's like, look, I'm so sorry I ever left you. I didn't know where to start finding you, but I was going to dedicate my life to looking for you because I do love you. And so she had to learn, and she says, I never blamed you. I never blamed you for leaving. Pop was a fucking ass. Again, I don't get monetized. But then you have a Jumpin', who is a black man, and he loves her even though she's a little white girl, and they are two worlds apart, truly. He lives in Color Town. He's not allowed to go to the same places she can go, but he loves her like a daughter throughout the work. And though that gives me some historical issues, I'm just gonna ride with the fictional world, okay? We're just gonna ride with the fictional world. I need to do a whole video on what that be giving me every time, because I'm so tired of seeing nigga Jim. Okay, so then Tate, Tate goes to grad school, he goes to college, he rejects her, but his love cannot end. Even when his logic tries to take over, his love remains so strong. So I think that goes to show us that sometimes, love is such a powerful force, especially when it's true and real, that you don't have to worry about time or distance or anything, because it's unbreakable and it's unshakable. Lastly, I just wrote that everybody needs somebody, and I said, as capable as Kaya was, she relies on the animals in the marsh to make her life tolerable. True isolation may have killed her. So she really relied on feeding the gulls, of seeing the herons, of collecting the specimens, of having a routine and having these animals rely on her, because without them, she would have just had no purpose for life. And so everybody needs somebody, even if that somebody happens to be an animal. You still need something. You need something to make the days pass, to make life bearable, to make life enjoyable. And so yeah, those are my major takeaways from the text. Tell me, what are your major takeaways from the text? I really enjoyed this book. I hope you guys did too, and I want to see you guys' reviews and analysis on it. What year did this come out? Because like I said, it's just been, I've been trying to get this to my hands for a minute. Oh, look, it's even a little, my dumb ass. Oh, this came out, what, 2018? Yeah, you got this. Here's to you. If I never seed you, I never knowed you. I seed you, I knowed you, I loved you forever. Alright, well, it's been real. Thank you for joining me for Book Talk. Thank you for listening to me talk about the major takeaways from Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. If you haven't got a copy, go get a copy. And yeah, hope to see you guys soon. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll be back shortly with a brand new video.